Belize, a small yet culturally rich nation nestled on the northern eastern coast of Central America, boasts a history as diverse and vibrant as its landscape. Originally inhabited by Mayan civilization, Belize later became a pivotal hub during the colonial era, contested by European powers seeking dominance in the New World. Yet there lies a significant historical event that profoundly influenced Belize's trajectory, the Case War of the mid-19th century. Can you provide an overview of the Case War and its historical significance in Belize?
The Caste War that began in 1847 in Yucatan, Mexico contributed to the settling of several Spanish speaking refugees in the northern part of Belize, Corozal, and Orange Walk districts.
Na 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 na. Choo. Mm. I'm not leaving, that's impossible to do. Cause if you want me to go, you can be looking the way you do. You can be cooking the way you do. You can be hooking me. If you want me to go, you can be looking the way you do. You can be walking the way you do. Because you're hooking me. Come on. I don't know what to do, so I'm pleading. Plus you ain't give me no reason. You tell me this the end of the season. Mash up everything, dress so. But you don't understand when you watch me.
The Case War erupted in 1847 in neighboring Yucatan, Mexico, fueled by deep-rooted social and economic grievances among the Mayan population. This conflict marked by fierce resistance against colonial oppression and exploitation across borders into Belize, then known as British Honduras. The aftermath had a far-reaching effects, causing ripples through the socio-economic structure of the colony and sparking unforeseen changes. This documentary will explore how the Case War, often viewed through the lens of conflict and resistance, became a channel for economic evolution in Belize. Despite the turmoil and displacement it caused, the war triggered agricultural innovation, expanded trade networks, and ultimately fostered economic resilience within the country. By exploring these aspects, we can develop a better grasp of how a chaotic period in history could also lay the foundation for a long lasting economic prosperity.
Oh, we get what we deserve. And we're down we go. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, we're down we go. Oh, 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 oh. So we're down we go.
Agricultural innovation, historical context. Prior to the Case War, Belize's economy was mostly dependent on forestry, especially the production of logwood and mahogany, and its agriculture was mainly subsistence based. Most of the farming was done on a modest basis with little to no chance of export. The impact of the Case War. The Case War's forced relocation of Maya tribes had a big impact on Belize's farming methods. New crop varieties and farming methods were brought about by the immigration of skilled farmers from Yucatan. The adoption of more varied and sustainable farming methods as a result of the migration contributed to the transformation of Belize's agricultural environment. Case study. The development of citrus farming was one of the most important agricultural advances. Citrus growing is one of the things that the Yucatecans brought to Belize and eventually made it a major industry. Citrus farming developed and grew over time, making a significant economic contribution to the nation. Finally, here is a visual of agricultural regions after the Case War, showcasing the shift from subsistence farming to more diverse and commercially viable agricultural practices.
How did the displacement of Maya communities during the Case War influence agricultural practices in Belize?
The displacement of Maya communities brought new agricultural knowledge and techniques, diversifying and improving Belize's farming practices.
What were some key agricultural innovations that emerged as a result of the Case War, and how did they impact Belize's economy?
Key innovations included the introduction of citrus farming and improved farming techniques, which boosted crop yields and diversified the economy.
Could you explain the process through which citrus farming became a significant industry in Belize following the Case War?
Citrus farming grew due to the fertile soil and favorable climate, government support, and the establishment of plantations and processing facilities.
Trade expansion. Pre-Case War trade. Trade was restricted in Belize prior to the Case War, and the country's economy was mostly reliant on the export of wood products. The main purpose of trade routes was to transport logwood and mahogany to Europe. Disruption and adaptation. Although the case war interrupted established trade channels, it also presented chances for new relations and commercial ties. Due to the war, there was an inflow of refugees who brought fresh information and skills that aided in trade route establishment and economic diversification. Case study. One immediate outcome of the disruption produced by the case war was the establishment of new economic relations with neighboring countries. For example, the unauthorized selling of weapons to the Crusade Maya established a profitable industry for trades in Belize. This illegal commerce demonstrated Belize's advantageous location as a hub for a range of resources. Lastly, here are visuals including a chart showing the growth in trade volume and the diversification of exported goods.
What were the main challenges Belize faced in terms of trade before and after the case war?
Before the war, Belize's trade was limited and reliant on timber. After the war, it had to establish new trade routes and diversify its economy.
How did the disruption caused by the case war lead to the expansion of trade routes and connections with neighboring countries?
The war's disruption forced Belize to seek new trade partners and routes, leading to expanded connections with Mexico and Guatemala.
What role did the new trade links play in revitalizing Belize's economy in the aftermath of the case war?
New trade links diversified Belize's economy, provided new revenue streams, and stabilized the economy through expanded market access.
While the case war in 1847 wasn't directly in Belize, it significantly impacted its economy. Thousands of refugees flooded northern Belize, straining resources and disrupting established trade routes. This economic setback hampered Belize's development for decades. Following the influx of refugees, Belize adopted various strategies. The government focused on encouraging refugees with farming experience to cultivate new lands, boosting food production, building roads and waterways to facilitate trade and connect new settlements, exploring new industries like forestry and fisheries to lessen dependence on traditional sectors. These efforts are documented in historical accounts and governmental reports. The case war experience instilled a long-term emphasis on economic resilience in Belize. Here's how Belize actively seeks to develop new economic sectors like tourism and information technology to avoid over-reliance on a single industry, recognizing the vulnerability of of its natural resources. Belize promotes ecotourism and sustainable agriculture. The World Bank's ongoing projects in Belize focus on building climate resilience and promoting financial inclusion, reflecting the country's commitment to long-term economic security. Interviews with Belizean policymakers and economists would further solidify this point. Charts obtained from the World Bank could show Belize's GDP growth alongside metrics like the Human Development Index, highlighting the country's progress in building a resilient economy that improves.
In what ways did the lessons learned from the case war contribute to the development of economic resilience in Belize?
Lessons from the war emphasized the need for economic diversification and adaptation to new market opportunities.
Can you discuss a specific policies or strategies implemented post-case war that helped rebuild Belize's economy?
Post war policies focused on agricultural development, trade expansion, and infrastructure improvements to support economic growth.
How did the experience of the case war era shape Belize's approach to economic development and resilience building?
The experiences highlighted the importance of diversifying the economy and building strong trade networks to ensure long term stability.
Furthermore, throughout this documentary, I will be concluding that the Belizean Caste War, which took place between the 1847 and the 1870s, it was pitted to the native Maya population against the colonial authorities and mestizo settlers. It was an intense conflict and subsequently a profound impact on the country's economy. Despite the chaotic nature, the Caste War produced a number of significant outcomes to shape Belize's economic landscape, such as agriculture, creativity, which includes crops like sugar, bananas, and citrus growing to which is now the major export for Belize. Even though it was chaotic, the Caste War produced a number of significant outcomes that helped to shape Belize's economic landscape. One of the war's most lasting effects was it that it encouraged agricultural innovation as both sides fought for control of rich farmland and resources. This concluded that the result in an increase in the agricultural production in the area, and it is becoming the expansion of trade networks and economic resilience in Belize. As the conflict distributed traditional trade routes and markets, the people of Belize were forced to find new ways to engage in commerce. This resulted in the development of new trading relationships and economic practice that helped to strengthen the country's economy. Now, lastly, the enduring legacy of the caste war can still be seen in Belize's economies, which it relies heavily on agriculture and trade. It serves as a reminder of importance of resilience and adaptation of the face of adversity, as well as the complex historical narrative that helps shape the nation's identity and economic development. It is a learning event of their impact and the events that occurred. We can gain deeper appreciation for this resilience and innovation that have shaped Belize in the country. It is today, and let us continue to explore and celebrate the diverse history to contribute to our national identity and economic development.
Message to the audience. We have now explored the untold story of Belize's economic evolution, shaped by adversity. The Case War, once a chapter of conflict, emerges as a catalyst for innovation, trade, and resilience. Thanks for joining us on a journey through history where we uncovered how challenges can inspire transformation and growth.